Okay, thanks. Okay. Chairman, you could start.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This is the Zoning Board of Appeals for April 12th, 2021. We've got 3 items on our agenda tonight, but first we're going to spend some time to review the minutes of last month's meeting. How about if I go first on edits? The first one is on page 1, and this is really for the record. It says Mr. Capasso did not attend. He wasn't on the screen, but he attended the meeting. And that we should note that for the record, in case these people ever do, in case 19 Livingston does come back. Page 15 minutes. Bottom of the long paragraph, it says on this issue, it says won this issue, and it should be on this issue. A couple more, I'm sorry. I was playing golf late this afternoon and more messed up than I should be. On page 25, it says Mr. Montez said Ed, and that should be Mr. Monty said Ed. And then the next page, 26, Mr. Gambos says that a pod, you meant PUD, right? Planned Unit Development.
Planned Unit Development.
So it'd be capital P, capital U, capital D. Those are the only ones that I caught. Anybody else have any changes?
You picked up the one I wanted to change.
Mr. Chairman, what was the last one? The page 26?
A PUD, a Planned Unit Development. It was a.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the second paragraph that starts with Mr. Gambos.
Okay,
That should be PUD, all capitals,
okay,
Planned Unit Development.
thank you.
So I move to approve the minutes as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the first item on our agenda is Tiernan's Lane. Who are they? Are they here, Jennifer?
Yes, they just raised their hand. Can you hear us?
We can. Can you see us?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
I'm Stephen, and this is Nina.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, and this is for a construction of an addition and new full second floor to the existing home on 16 Tiernan's Lane, located in the B zone. The required minimum individual side yard setback is 10 feet. The proposed left setback is 6 inches. The required variance is 9 feet 6 inches. The required minimum individual side yard setback is 10 feet. The proposed right setback is 2 feet 1.5 inches. That's requiring a variance of 7 feet 10.5 inches. The required minimum combined yard setback is 20 feet, and the proposed is 2.2 feet 2 inches, requiring a variance of 17 feet 4.5 inches. The required minimum front yard setback based on the proposed calculation of the prevailing is 7 feet 4 inches. The proposed is a front yard setback of 2 feet 3.25 inches, thus requiring a variance of 5.75 inches. And the required minimum rear yard setback is 25 feet, requiring a variance of 3 feet 7.5 inches. And I would just note to the public that most of these are because the house is already built, and most of these are the existing footprint. And with that, I will ask Stephen and Nina to make the presentation.
So should we share our screen, or are you looking at the material on your own? How should we do this? This is the first time. Sorry.
It's probably best to share your screen, because that way the materials will show up for viewers that are not us.
Sure. Great. I will do that. Okay.
Let's go to the
Okay.
next
Do you want to
page. Or maybe go to there.
this
Okay.
one? Can you talk about it?
So this is there's an existing building on the site. And on the left-hand side of this sheet, you can see the footprint of the existing building. It's currently a 1-story, 1-bedroom home with a basement. And what we're proposing, which is on the right-hand side, is to keep that existing footprint, add a 2nd story with the same footprint. And then that small triangular hatched area is the only additional square footage that we're proposing. It's 11 square feet per floor. And as you can see from the setback lines on the plan, that's the only kind of as of right area with the setbacks that we could add. So we were going to take that little corner and add that angle. The setbacks are, the required setbacks are shown there, and you can see that we are over them. It's an existing lot and an existing building. So as I mentioned, we're not proposing to change any of that. As far as the height goes, I don't know if you're concerned about that, but our allowable height is 30 feet and we're proposing to be at 29.6. So we're under that height limit. And it's actually shorter than the height of the adjacent buildings. They're higher than this one. I don't know if you want to go down to the elevations maybe. So here's what we're proposing, or I show the existing first, this one. So this is what the existing house looks like. It's a small 1-story with a basement, as I mentioned. The entrance right now is on the rear of the house. It's a small rectangular mass that comes out from the side. And what we're proposing is to add the 2nd story. You want to go to the next one. So this building would have the same footprint and would encompass that small bump out that was the entrance before into that 2-story building. Maybe go back to the zoning plan. So I'm not sure if you have any questions, but that's basically what we're proposing, is not to change the footprint. We're asking for a variance on the setback since the existing building is already over those lines.
Right. So the triangular piece that you're adding,
Yes,
that's as of right. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the part I didn't understand was the required minimum front yard setback. The front yard setback isn't changing, but it sounds like it's different than the prevailing, or what is the prevailing?
No, we're not changing the front yard setback at all. So the footprint of the building is exactly the same with the exception of that little hatched triangle. That's the only difference. Everything else is existing.
Dan, could you explain what prevailing means in number 4 here on the front yard setback?
Yeah, in that district, you take the prevailing of all the properties, and then that gives you the setback.
I understand. Gotcha.
And Mr. Hoffman, we have a diagram that we did actually for the DOB submission that we're showing on the screen to calculate what that prevailing is. So you can see the other 3 buildings on Tiernan's Lane and what their setbacks are. And then if you go up to our table above, and then at the bottom, you can see our calculation for that prevailing ends up at 7'4". So that's where that number came from.
Gotcha. Um, The other thing I couldn't make out when looking at the plans, it looked like as you're facing, as you're standing on Tiernan's Lane and facing your house, on the slide that you're showing right now, if you see the line on the left, looks like it's right off the edge of the structure, whereas the one on the right is minimally shifted to the left. What's the difference there?
Are you talking about just that double line at the perimeter of the building?
On the left-hand side of the building as you're facing from Tiernan's Lane, right there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the edge of the house. And then the diagonal line is the property line. And then that 6-inch dimension is the current distance from the corner of the house to the nearest point on the property line.
Okay, but that looks like it's a little further away from the house than on the portion to the
Take a
left,
look over here.
where you see what I mean? There, it looks like
Oh.
it's right on it.
Oh, you're right. Oh, I think that's a drafting error.
Those are just drafting errors. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
yes.
Just wanted to make
Oh,
sure.
we have the 6 inches indicated on both, but I think that's a drafting error. Sorry about that.
Okay, I just didn't want it to be something that we should have been looking at.
Right.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I just really wanted to compliment Ms. Lesser on the overall quality of the document. It was a good set of drawings.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, and Tiernan's Lane is much changed from what it was once upon a time.
What
And this
was it once upon a time? We don't even know.
Well, the quality of the buildings has improved, and this will be a further addition to it.
Oh, great. I'm glad you think so.
So any more questions?
None from me.
I think these are good drawings. You know, everything that all the variances that we're talking about are because the house was built long ago on the spot where it was built long ago, and there are no further incursions that need variances. And so I move to first close the hearing. Is there anyone from?
Peter, is there anyone else who wants to be heard on the application?
You see anyone, Jennifer?
I don't see anyone with their hands raised.
Okay, then in view of that, I'll move to close the hearing. All in favor? And I move to approve the application according to the plan granted, the plans submitted.
Aye.
All in favor? And that's unanimous.
Great. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
everyone.
much. Thank
Good luck
you.
to you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
The next, is the next Ashford, 288 Ashford? I think it is. I think I have my packages in the right order. Could you see if, yeah, Mr. Gelbard is the applicant? I'm not sure about the plans.
Is there anyone here for the Ashford application? If so, can you raise your hand? What was the last name, Chairman?
Mr. Gelber? Gelbard is the
No.
applicant.
I don't see that last name.
Well, how about asking if Myrtle Avenue is here?
Is there anyone here from 11 Myrtle?
That would be Mr. Muntis.
Oh, yes. Here we go. There's a lot of people here. Hold on.
Hello, how are you?
Hello,
You guys see me, hear me? Let me see.
we hear you.
Here I am. Oh, wow, you're looking the wrong way. You're looking at my kitchen. So sorry. Well, okay. There you go. Here I am. There's whipped cream on my kitchen counter. That's my son's dessert, basically. So
I'll be
sorry.
over after the meeting.
You got to witness that unfortunate episode. Hi, my name is Greg Sharp. I'm an architect, and I'm representing the Muntises in their proposal to renovate their house that's on 11 Myrtle Lane. The house is a very old house. It was built in the 60s, and it has not been substantially renovated since. So therefore, the house was designed and built prior to any zoning being enacted. Should I let me try to do a share screen, I guess.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, let me just read the what you're here for. The required maximum lot coverage by impervious surfaces is 40%. The proposed coverage is 45.5%, thus requiring a 5.5% variance. The required minimum side yard setback is 20 feet. The proposed setback is 19.8, thus requiring a variance of 2 inches. The required minimum combined side yard setback is 50 feet, thus requiring, the proposal is for 46.4 feet, requiring a 3 foot 6 inch setback, a variance, excuse me.
Okay, thank you. So this is the current house. It's part of the current house. Here's the other part. So Myrtle Lane is basically a flag lot. So it basically has the common driveway that serves 2 other houses. So this was also done in the 60s. So, sorry, I'm trying to find this. This survey. In any event, so this is the current location of the house, the current location of the pool, and the current roadway that serves both neighbors' houses. Our proposal is basically just to utilize the current foundation of the house and to just add a small extension onto the rear of the house to go with their existing pool that's already part of the house, as well as to modernize the facades of the house, as well as updating the general house in itself. So it's basically taking the foundation of the house, the existing foundation of the house, and building on top of the first floor to create a new house. So the house is still a split level ranch historically, but we're adding some modern flourishes and hoping that we're able to move past this. So the zoning variances that we're requesting are based on the existing parameters of the house, not the new addition on the house, but lot coverage is due to the fact that we share a common driveway, and therefore that square footage is incorporated into our lot coverage. And the setbacks were already pre-existing prior to the zoning being enacting. So we're not going any further into the current required setbacks. So the design of the existing house is like this. There's a basement, a garage on the side, and there's a first floor that has a kitchen and some bedrooms. And this shows the roof plan.
Greg, your screens aren't switching if you're switching your screens. We're seeing the first slide.
Yeah, we're stuck on the front.
Okay, what I'm not sure what I do in that respect.
You might have to stop sharing and then when you share screen again, select if it's a different application or a different screen that you have to share. Because this is
Okay.
just stuck on the pictures.
Thank you, Jennifer.
No problem.
Okay, I'm gonna stop share and share again. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, do you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'm not 100% sure where I left you, but did you guys see this page?
No,
No, we just saw the first slide, which was a photograph of the front of the house.
Okay, let me start over. I'm so sorry.
That's right.
Okay, so this is the title page of our application. This is the site plan indicating the current house. So the house is basically sits on a flag lot. So it has a common driveway that accesses both adjacent houses as well as serves itself. So the existing house is a split level ranch, and it has an existing pool in the back. Our proposal is to renovate the house on top of the current foundation, but to add a small addition onto the rear of the house that opens up to the pool area in the back of the house. This house was constructed prior to the zoning being enacted, so the lot coverages were from before that period. The setbacks that we have are the same for the existing house. So we're not extending the setbacks any further than are currently set by the current house. So
And you're not violating the rear yard setback with that
That's
addition to the rear.
that's correct. That's correct. So this is the current existing house. It was a very lovely 1960s ranch, modern ranch. And it had, and there was a small addition put on in the 70s in the back, and there was a pool added at some point, but the general house has not changed. So the current house has a wing here, and it has a current bump out room in the back, and it has a hardscape patio in the middle. So our proposal is basically to reuse the existing foundation of the house and to add a new section onto the back that is of the same setbacks as the current design. So our proposal is to basically create so this whole part of the house is really based on the existing foundation, and we're adding a new room onto the back that will be off of the pool.
Mhm.
So we're transforming the house from a classic 1960s ranch style to a modern ranch style home. This would be the addition in the rear of the house. This would be the front of the house. So it still utilizes the same plan. It still utilizes the same sort of organization. It's still the front door is still in the same exact place. The garage is still in the same place. We're just sort of giving it a modern face, utilizing the same layout of the house, except for this new room in the back. And where's the renderings? I had some, I think I'm, okay. This shows the flag lot and the property. It shows the survey of the existing property. I did have some lovely renderings. They don't seem to be up on the they don't seem to be up on that on this. Let me see. Oh, this is it, right? I did have some renderings that went with it. I'm sorry. I thought they were in that submission. Are there any questions that you'd have, and I could try to find them while we're looking for them?
Peter, I do have a question. I wanted to know whether the proposed works scope was increasing the percentage of the impervious surfaces.
I'm sorry, how much impervious surfaces are we covering? Are we adding?
You say in the first variance, it's the required maximum lot coverage by impervious surfaces is 40%. The proposed is 45.5%, requiring a variance of 5.5%. And I just wanted to know whether there was anything that was being done in the renovation project that was increasing the amount of lot coverage by impervious surfaces.
Okay, so the existing and proposed lot coverage over by 5.5%. The existing coverage is over by 12.277 square feet, and the proposed is 13,205 or 1,018 square feet. So the current house is over, or the current project is over by a total of 5.5%. We are only, which is equals 12,277. We are only over by 1,018 square feet on our addition. So where we are proposing to add a little bit of extra is this front patio, and basically the rear patio to connect the pool. So it would be this space that connects the building, the existing house to the pool, and it's this space that adds this. So the current house or the addition without those areas is still within the same lot coverage because of the existing one-story addition and the patio that's part of the existing house. So the square footage that we're adding is primarily for those two areas of just to, we would like to connect the pool with the house with the patio. And we thought it would be nice because they actually have a very beautiful view right from this front patio, right? Kind of, it looks over the field and the town. It's kind of like a fun area to have a nice seating area. So those are the primary reasons why it's over for lot coverage.
Okay.
And a substantial amount of your lot coverage is the driveway, which normal people have as a road.
That's right. That's right.
Not included in your impervious.
That is correct. And it's shared by the neighbors. So once again, it was before the zoning was enacted and there was no, this is one of these issues where it just wasn't dealt with in that capacity. But if anything, you would maybe take the amount of lot coverage of the road and split it between the three houses, and then we would be under the lot coverage amount.
Mm-hmm. And Dan, this is a technical question. Is the swimming pool, is that an impervious surface? Because that's actually catching water. I'm just wondering if that is in.
I believe so, yes. I believe that is true.
Okay.
And that's in our calculations as well.
Right. Anyone else have any questions for the applicant? Jennifer, would you see if someone from the neighborhood has questions? Or anyone else?
Don't see anyone with their hands raised.
I understand that the neighbors are supportive of the project.
Peter, what's one thing we did not do for this application or the prior? And maybe we don't do this any longer, but were all the neighbors notified And did they all respond that they were aware of the application going forward?
Yes, they were. And they were asking if they could write a letter of support. And I said, I don't think it's necessary at this moment, but maybe it is. I don't know. But I believe all the neighbors are supportive of it. The house is is a lovely area. It's in a beautiful cul-de-sac. The neighbors' houses have been renovated more recently. So this house is in need of a renovation. And
Yeah,
it's
what I'm asking is a more procedural question. And maybe our procedures have changed because of coronavirus, but in the not too distant past, every resident who lived within a certain distance from an applicant had to receive a
that's
notification
correct.
of the item being considered. And we would discuss at the beginning of the application that there were 45 notices sent out and 43 were received back.
Absolutely.
And I'm just curious whether that procedure is still being followed, and if so, how many?
It is.
And the reason I'm asking is because I just was brought to my attention by somebody and who had a issue before a different board that because they were now notified and they were a near neighbor, and they asked me why,
Hmm.
and
I think the only
maybe
change,
that board
Bruce,
does something different than our board does.
yeah, Bruce, I think the only change is I don't believe now that it's that the letters are sent return receipt. But the applicant or their representative have to vouch to the building department that they've sent the letters.
Yeah.
Is that
Letters were
correct?
sent to every person in this catchment area. So this diagram indicates the letters that were sent out. So all the adjoining properties that are within a certain buffer zone.
Right.
This is information that's given to us by, I believe, the county. And then we proceed to send letters according to this list, and it's certified mail and with appropriate times. And the Monteses have also spoken with their neighbors, and they have a positive reaction to the renovation.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Yes.
we do have somebody with their hand raised.
Okay. Would you please recognize them?
Yes. I have to unmute them. Hold on. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Laura Holzman and Lawrence Holzman. We're one of the neighbors, and we were informed. No one ever asked us for a letter of support, but you know, we're not opposed to the project. It doesn't look like it's going to be an imposition on any of the land on either side. We're just concerned about how much noise this is going to create in terms of the building. We just went through the pandemic, and our neighbors at 1 Myrtle Avenue got some approval to make a house. And during the whole pandemic, they were banging and drilling and with cranes and I don't know, it was impossible to work, and we're all working from home right now. So that's my major concern. It doesn't look like there's going to be any major rock drilling at this point, but I know there was at 1 Myrtle Avenue, and no one informed us that that was going to happen.
There's definitely no rock drilling here. This is an existing foundation on the house. We're not putting a basement under the new section of the house. So we expect that this should not be as noisy a venture as 1 Myrtle. We are obviously, I think that our client was also aware of that project. So we do not expect that level of disturbance to happen. And but the noise will be, confined to normal operating hours. And if there's any special requests, if we're making too much noise at that time, then obviously we'd love to talk to you about what we can do to mitigate that and work with you in a neighborly way. We don't expect any digging like that. There's no rock excavation. The pool's already in place. So that would be the only thing that would cause it. And we're not doing a basement underneath the new section. So I would expect very little of that level of disturbance besides normal construction type of activities, some wood framing and so on and so forth. And it should not be that long because we're going on top of an existing foundation. So it should not be a prolonged project. It should be a quick project.
How long do you estimate for the building?
I think we said around 6 months total. But if you assume that 3 months of that may be the louder part, and then that would probably be the majority of the louder part, as far as anything that could possibly provide a disturbance. And even if that is, probably the first month of that or month and a half is probably slightly louder with the demolition, but it's not expected to be a extremely, there should be no rock banging. There's no, massive, type of operation like that. There's very little heavy equipment would be involved, just a very small bit of heavy equipment. So I do not expect the type of disturbance that you experienced at the other project at all.
Okay. Also, as you indicated, there's a very narrow driveway that leads up to our 3 houses. If there's going to be a lot of trucks and construction vehicles coming up and down, how are we going to, what is your plan for dealing with being able to have the other neighbors have access to the driveway and their houses?
Well, we would coordinate anything that required a large amount of trucks. This is a reasonably small project. There should not be a massive amount of construction vehicles here. There'll be maybe, and we shouldn't be blocking the road ever. I think there's plenty of room for the vehicles to operate on this site. So there may be, the only time would be when there may be like a concrete truck that has to come up, but we would have someone on site to make sure that they don't block the road, and we would have appropriate construction schedule. And if you'd like, we can coordinate further with you when we get closer to that reality, which is not quite today, but hopefully soon. So
yeah, when would you expect to start?
Well, I'm sorry, what?
When would you expect to start?
Well, we have this committee, and then assuming we go well tonight, then we have another committee after this. And then after that, we have another committee. So we have planning board, then AHRB, then we have permitting. So at a minimum, we're most likely 3 months. And then at then after that, who knows? So I would say, that we're certainly months away from this happening. And we would be happy to sit with you and go over any concerns that you have to discuss it.
So it would be after the summer, basically.
At this point, I would imagine so, but I would imagine so. But like I said, I think we're more than happy to sit with you and discuss any particulars and parameters of this process to make sure you're not affected in a negative way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else, Jennifer?
No, Chairman, that was it.
Anyone else from the board have questions? Then I'll move to close the hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep, that's unanimous. And anyone want to make a motion, or should I make a motion?
Go ahead, Peter.
Thanks,
You're
guys.
on a roll tonight.
I moved that the application be granted in accordance with the plan submitted.
I second.
All in favor? All in favor? And that's unanimous.
Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, you're certainly welcome. Good luck. It's a very attractive project.
Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
And Jennifer, do you want to see if 288 Ashford is here yet?
Yes, he is here. Hold on 1 second. Arthur, can you hear us? I can't hear you, but I read your lips. Wait. Oh, hold on. We still can't hear you. Arthur? No, we still can't hear you. There you go. Oh, no, now we still can't hear you. You're unmuted, but
He may have to unmute in the left-hand corner of his screen. Not you, Jennifer. Arthur. We can't hear you yet. Speak louder.
Do you want to try and
There, wait.
get off and then come back on? Let me try and do that. Hold on. Okay, he left the meeting, so hopefully he's going to come back. Arthur, you're unmuted, but we still can't hear you. I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work. Arthur, in the bottom left corner of your screen where the microphone is, there's a little arrow right next to the microphone. Oh, he left again. In the bottom left corner, if you select that arrow, you should be able to select a microphone. Sometimes there's different ones set up if you're using a microphone or your computer. So you might have to try a different microphone.
Yeah, there's a microphone, and you have to make sure that the volume is up on your computer. You have to put your volume all the way up. And check to make sure that that microphone in the left-hand corner doesn't have a dash through it.
Or alternatively, he could just dial in, right? Using the dial in, the 929-205-6099, enter the password. He can leave his video on and talk to us over his personal phone.
You're still not on. Did you hear what Mr. Capasso said, Arthur? Yeah, why don't you get your phone and just talk into your phone, and we can.
The password. I think he's asking for the password. Hold on, I have to find it.
248129.
248129. Your call is important to us. Oh,
You do it as charades.
right. Is he close to any of us? Oh.
Well, you need me to share my screen with the plans because if he's having trouble getting on, I don't know how he'll.
That might be helpful.
Okay, so I'll have them ready just in case.
Yes.
Is this application as straightforward as it seems to be in everybody's mind?
I've got some issue. I've got an issue. Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen a covered walkway in the village, covered staircase in the village. No, I don't know. Maybe
That
others
doesn't seem to be the zoning issue.
Pardon me?
That doesn't seem to be the zoning board issue. The zoning board issue seems to be the setback of the side yard. I don't see, I had the same thought, Peter. That's you. I was wondering about the roof. I was wondering about the height on the roof. I was wondering about the sight line. But then I noticed that there was no variance related to the roof. The variance was strictly related to side yard. And the side yard wasn't being changed by the roof.
But I think but the roof is along the side yard.
I think it's consistent with the previous non-conformance.
Right.
But I understand your point. I just don't know if that is before us.
I guess I just think it's a little bit different than building up from that side, from that footprint. But
I just tried the dial in. You've got to dial the 929-205-6099. You've then got to enter the webinar ID, which I can, we've lost them now. Anyhow, my instructions earlier were missing one step, which might explain why he wasn't able to dial in. You've got to put in the webinar ID, and then you put the password in. But it works. I just validated it.
it worked. Okay.
Yes.
We lost Dan Romer too. We're having technical difficulties all around tonight.
It's always something.
Dan is on his way to 288 Ashford.
Is there a survey that's part of this application? Aren't we supposed to have that?
I kind of think it might be this. I mean, it's not a detailed survey. But, it is one of sorts. The first page of the blueprints on the left.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure it's a survey, but. Joe, would you repeat to Arthur the whole procedure?
Yeah, absolutely. Arthur, if you can hear us, if you want to try dialing in via your phone again, let me give you the steps. The dial in phone number is area code 929-205-6099. You'll then be prompted to enter the webinar ID. That number is 873-6907-9914. Finally, you'll be asked to enter the password. The password is 248129.
Hold on. I just put you on. Let me double check. I think it's *9 to unmute. Yep, *9 or. Oh no, okay, that was raise your hand. It's *6. Yes. Oh wait, now I have to mute him.
Yep.
Hold on.
He got the,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Might I suggest maybe have him leave the video? And
Yeah.
he can
I'm
just
gonna-
speak, and then I'll just present.
Okay, I'm going to.
Good idea.
Yes. Okay. Arthur, hit *6 again.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
we can hear
Arthur.
you.
Okay, I am very sorry for all of that, wasting your time, but okay. Hello?
Yes.
I don't have control over these drawings.
It's okay. We have them. We have them up. So when you want to talk about a particular drawing, I'll just pull it up.
Okay. Do you want me to speak about these drawings?
Yes.
Yes, let me
Yeah.
just read the notice. And this concerns plans to construct a roof over an existing exterior stairs at 288 Ashford Avenue, located in the OF6 zone. All new structures or extensions of any nonconformity must comply with the current zoning. The required minimum side yard setback is 10 feet. The proposed setback is 3 feet 9 3/8 inches, thus requiring a variance of 6 feet 2 5/8 inches. And now you can proceed, Arthur.
Okay. As I said, this is a new owner to the property. The stair was existing. The conditions in the building are existing. The stair leads from an exterior area to an apartment on the third level, which is kind of a mixture of a second floor and attic. The stair existed already, and the owner would like to put a roof on the stair. And that's the entire project.
And why does he want to put a roof on the staircase?
He believes that it will be easier to use in snow and rain.
But there's no roof over the deck, right?
The roof only extends to the door,
Oh, I see.
but not over the deck. No.
And is the roof the exact same width as the stairs?
Yes, it is, except that there are columns on the outside added for stability, right outside the stringers of the stair. These columns are outside the stringer.
Yeah, it looks like the roof is marginally, overlaps the staircase by small number of inches at most. Dan, does this needs to go through the Architectural Review Board? Is that
Yes, definitely.
okay? Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, Jennifer, is there anyone from the village that has a question or would like to make a comment?
I don't see anyone with their hand raised.
Okay. So how do people feel about this? Am I crazy or?
I'll say for the record what I said before. I understand the concern you have with respect to introducing the exterior roof, but I don't see that as the issue that building department raised for us to consider. The issue raised for us to consider is strictly the side yard setback, and that would be the one issue where we could say we are yay or nay. I guess it'll be the ARB and other boards that would consider whether the roof is appropriate or not. But I don't believe that's a zoning board issue at the moment.
Yeah, I do hear you. I guess my only issue is that this is a little bit different in that it's not the side wall of a house. There aren't other covered staircases in the neighborhood, or even in Dobbs that I'm aware of. And I guess that's my only potential issue.
I've seen it in other cities. You're right. I've never seen it here in Dobbs. I've seen it in other places because we actually don't have a large inventory of exterior staircases. There are places which have even older housing or different styles of housing that have more of a history or a number of exterior stairs. You don't see a lot of that here at all.
Yeah,
John, in
there's
your
some on Main Street
recollection,
that
do
you
you,
see
are
from
you
the,
familiar with them?
there's some on Main Street that you see from the aqueduct, but those are all kind of covered by the main roof.
I mean, it is a style that goes back. I don't know, when was 288 built? How far back does it go?
Teens,
It's an old style.
20s, I don't
It
know.
was a basic fire safety approach
Yeah.
in turn of the century, the last century.
Yeah.
John, are you familiar with any of these house types?
I don't think I've seen that many. I mean, I don't. No, I don't think I've seen any.
Yeah, well, one reason I was interested in the survey is I don't really have a full sense of how visible this will be from the street.
It's at the
There is a
back.
survey in the set.
It wouldn't really be visible from the street. It would be, which is not technically Ashford. It would be a bit visible from Ashford, but what's the, I forget the name of the little street. Irving.
Irvington.
It's not really visible from there, except between the two houses. If you look at that house and the house to the right of it, it would be marginally visible. Not especially, I don't think.
Yeah, barely.
Well,
I guess my feeling is that the impact on the setback is minimal, and that the sort of aesthetic concern is more of an ARHB issue.
yeah, and I can understand a safety issue for it in the snow.
Are we sure that the stair is compliant?
Say that
in
again?
terms of the setback, in terms of the setback.
Well, it would be, it's too close to the property line. So the stair is an existing nonconformity.
I guess in terms of when it was built, that's all I'm asking. I mean, they could have built it a month ago.
There's too much rust for a month ago, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell when it was built. It was probably built when the apartment up there was legalized, would be my guess.
Yeah. I see a CO from 1987 for a 3-family there, so it had to be 87 or before.
Okay.
There you go. I would tend to agree with Bruce. It's not great, but it's not. I don't sense it's really what is in front of us.
Okay.
And I think in terms of our criteria, it would be hard to deny it.
Mm-hmm.
ARB may have a different set of issues before.
Right.
It really goes back, if to the history of tenement housing. Tenement housing is tradition. I'm not saying 288 is a tenement house, but
Mhm.
that's where I've seen it before.
Right. I'm gonna make, Arthur, could I make a request?
Yes,
There's a car in the parking lot of this house without an engine in it. If the board acts positively on this, could you promise to get rid of that?
I can promise to squeeze the owner.
So Arthur, what is your relationship to this application? You're not the owner. Are you the architect or the engineer?
I'm the architect. Yes, I am the architect.
Okay. So I'll ask you the question that we've been talking about. Again, it's not necessarily directly related, but do you know the history of the exterior stair and why and how, you know,
I can tell you that this owner owns a number of properties, and he stated to me that he has a number of situations like this where he's put on roofs over exterior open stairs, and he sent me images of those stairs with the roof. He bought the property recently with the C of O as is and with the stair. So this was something natural to him. When I undertook to do drawings for it, I didn't realize the complication of the process. But I welcome this discussion. That rear yard is kind of out of the way. The adjacent property has a large opening, and this property has a very large open yard. So even though this is close to the side yard, it's not that intrusive. But I don't think it has anything to do with historical design features, but it was a way to provide a second means of egress for that unit on the top level.
Gotcha. The issue really is one of why in 1987 did somebody think it was a good idea to add an exterior stair? And that's not before us either.
But that's existing now.
Yeah.
Dan?
Yes.
Dan, would you be you'd have the authority to make a request to cars without engines, visibly without engines, probably are not allowed to be parked on people's property. Is that right?
I don't know that for sure. I know you're allowed to have up to one unregistered vehicle on your property as per New York State code. But I could look into our local code more about that.
Okay. Well, I think we've probably exhausted anything we can say about this. Move to close the hearing, guys. All in favor?
Thank you, everybody.
Hold on a sec. We still have to vote. I move that the application be granted in accordance with the plan submitted. Do I have a second? Okay, and all in favor? And that's unanimous. Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
And I move to close.
Okay.
All in favor? Yes.
In favor.